Welcome everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me today in this momentous and very exciting day for myself and the team at Conceptual. For the guys that don't know me, my name is Nick and I am the founder and the international creative director for my brand new company, Conceptual Hair Tools. At Conceptual, our vision is really quite simple. We want to reimagine and we want to reinvent the day-to-day tools that hairdressers use to make their job easier and to make your results faster and more effective as well. We spent the last 12 months really sort of heavily focused in creating what we believe is going to be game-changing innovations for our launch and also for the future as well. We're really enjoying being on Facebook Live and stuff like that. It's an amazing platform that we're being on. So as I said, there's going to be lots and lots of education that we're going to be delivering either through our Facebook, our Instagram, or also our YouTube as well. So the first thing I want to do is I want to introduce you to a brand new innovation that we have. Officially today is our official launch. Our website has gone live of yesterday. So thank you everybody who has already placed orders. I really appreciate your support. So the first initiative that we have is that we wanted to really sort of look at the world of colour separators. And we wanted to create a separator that could be used multiple times. So I'd like to welcome the innovation that we have, which is called Refoils, which is the world's strongest, most durable hairdressing foil. So here is Refoils. So when we started to develop the idea of a reusable hair colour separator, we looked at all the different categories that there are. So there's typically 4 categories. Your first category is aluminium foil. So aluminium foil is typically going to be your industry standard. And the reason why a lot of stylists will tend to use aluminium foil is it can be used for the vast majority of colour techniques. You can literally basically, it's very mouldable. But the major downside about using aluminium foil is it can't be reused. You've got to look at the category. You have aluminium foil, which is quite thin. And then you've also got aluminium foil, which is quite thick. So the only way to make aluminium foil stronger is to make it thicker. The challenge that you have with that, when you start making thick aluminium foil, it'll start to become like an aluminium plate, so it won't actually be able to fold it or anything. So we really wanted to have something that you can fold, and we wanted something that's not only going to just last 1 or 2 times, we want it to be used multiple times. In fact, refoil. So this is the smaller box. Refoils can actually be used, these can actually be reused up to 30 times. Later on in the presentation, I'm going to be doing a demonstration. I'm going to show you the different ways that you can actually use refoils. Each one of these sheets can be reused 30 times. And the amazing thing is one box of our classic refoils is the same as 12 boxes of traditional foil. Yes, you've heard that right. This is the equivalent to 12 boxes, okay? Each box contains 200 sheets. So I'm just going to pull that up so you can see. So each box contains 200 sheets. Because they can be reused 30 times, that's the equivalent to 6,000 pieces of foil. So that's quite an amazing sort of achievement, yeah? Our extra long, which is these guys two here. I'll wait till the animation finishes a little bit. So our extra long, which is typically double the size of our classic, this is the equivalent to, wait for it, 1.1 miles or 1.79 kilometers of traditional foil. So really we're pushing the boundaries. But when we sort of started looking at the category, we really looked at the different categories. So you've got the aluminium foil. So that comes in different weights. So this is measured in what are called microns. You have a smooth to a more textured finish. And you've also most recently got coloured foils. The next category that you have, this is where you're going to be coming into your polystyrene, styrofoam type materials. Some people call these a thermal wrap, and these also, as the thicker ones, these are also called mesh as well. The challenge that you have with something like that is some of these products can be reused a couple of times. Realistically, once you've used them once or twice, you don't really want to use them again. I don't know if anybody has got these foil wraps and tried to reuse them or try to wash them. They can be a little bit of a form of, they're literally very different to what they used to look like when they were brand new, okay? A lot of times as well with these styrofoam type products is that you can't really fold them like you can do a foil. You can bend them up, but if you're going to be putting, say, highlights through somebody's hair, and if you're also going to be putting a base color through at the same time, sometimes it's very difficult to manipulate where you've got your highlights in your mesh to be able to get the highlights out of the way so you can actually get in. Yeah. So as I say, with something like that, it can be a little bit more of a challenge to do certain techniques. So sometimes with these styrofoam type products, they can tend to be a little bit limiting in what you can actually do with them. The next category that we have is going to be our see-through plastic sheets, also known as acetate sheets as well. Some of these products have got adhesive strips on them, and again, they claim to be you can reuse them a couple of times. But the challenge is once you've used one of these products that has a sticky sort of edge, once it's been washed, you lose the stickiness to it. So realistically, these products can be maybe used 1-2 times, but really after that, you can't really use them. Again, you can't really fold them either. So again, it can be a little bit limiting or a little bit harder to do certain jobs. And then the last category that we have is we have our paper category. So you have a couple of different products in this category. Again, they can be reused, maybe a handful of times if you're lucky, depending on the type of product that you're using or the type of material that you're using. And also as well, most recently in a lot of the South American hairdressers, they've been using what's more of a laminated art card. So on one side, it's like a cardboard, a thin cardboard, and then on the other side, it's more of like an aluminium sheet that's on there. So it's like a laminated card. The challenge that you have with that is you can't really reuse it. So it's a one-time use. So a lot of the South American hairdressers are using them really because the actual surface, because it has got that little bit more of a card type feel to it, the actual surface is really good to be able to paint on. Because what you're able to do, you're able to really saturate the product. So we looked at all these different categories and we knew that we really wanted to create a foil type product, but it also has certain aspects of other category features. So what we did to be able to make our foils reusable, what we actually did, so you can actually sort of see on the camera, can you see there's like a little mesh through there? So what we've actually done is, this is a laminated foil. What we've also done is in the middle of the foil, we've actually created a polyethylene mesh. Because of that, these are super, super strong. I will challenge anybody to try and rip these. These are nigh on impossible to rip. So here's a slightly older one. So again, you can sort of see the nigh on impossible to rip. So this is really why they're able to be reused all the time. Also, we also wanted to make them easy to clean. Okay, so what we've also done is, as well as the polyurethane mesh core that we have, we've also created a polyurethane finish on the product. The reason for that, these are actually waterproof. So when you come to actually clean them, you'll find that water will just bead off them. So the great thing is there's no drying time with these. So you can literally rinse them. What we'd recommend is when you come to clean them is to use like a scrubbing brush. Don't use your best tint brushes. Use your tint brushes for colouring hair. Don't use your tint brushes for mixing up colour or to clean your foils or clean your bowls. You want to be using a scrubbing brush. You want to love them tint brushes, okay? So with the foil, you give it a little bit of a scrub with a scrubbing brush. You can literally put them onto one side. All the water will bead off them. You can quickly just give it a quick dry with a towel, and these can be reused straight away. They're really one of the only products on the market that can actually be reused. So when you look at some of the styrofoam products, especially the mesh sheets, that material is actually quite porous. So the challenge that you have is the water can actually seep into the product, so it can take forever to dry. So this is the great thing about the refoils, is that it can be reused up to 30 times, and also as well, they're really easy and really quick to clean. When you come to use your refoils, depending on how you use them, you might find that you might get more than 30 applications from here, okay? When you use them for the first time, depending on the technique that you're going to be using, we would suggest placing your folds into the foils first. So our technology that we have, we call this memory fold technology. So if you have a look on a slightly older, so this is actually being reused. This has been reused about 30 times. So you can sort of see what it looks like after 30 applications. When you come to place folds into your refoils, these folds will be remembered by their material. So when you come to reuse them again, it folds back into its shape again. So it's a little bit like origami, or it's like folding a map. So when you come to reuse them, all your folds are already in there. If you decide to use your refoils, and if you just want to stack one refoils on top of the other, there's no need to prepare the folds, so you can go ahead and use them. If you're using refoils in that technique where you're just stacking, you might get 40 applications out of it. You might get a little bit more. The reasons why we say up to 30 applications is simply all that happens is over that amount of times where you start to crease the material, you'll start to find a little bit of the material, a little bit of the aluminium foil will just start to slightly flake off a little bit. Okay? So nothing crazy will happen if you go, if you use it 32 times. All you'll find is over a period of time is the material will just start to slightly flake off a little bit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick demonstration. Refoils can be used in many different ways. Everybody tends to foil a little bit differently. Some people will like to place the foil straight into the hair. Some people will like to take the foil and then take the edge backwards or take the edge forward. Some people just like to fold up once. Some people like to fold it into a little packet. So we want to make sure that our refoils can be used in lots of different ways. I will show you my favorites. The more I've used the refoils, the more I've got to develop the way that I particularly like to use them. But feel free to use them the way that you want to use them. You'll find that on the packaging, you'll find that there's a QR code on the packaging. So when you get the refoils, all you need to do is take your cell phone, open your camera, and this will take you to a YouTube video which has got the full description on how to use them, how to take care of them, how to wash them. Also in the description of this video, I've also copied some links into there as well, so you can use that a little bit for reference. Okay, so the second thing that we're going to be launching is we're going to be launching our classic tint brushes. So here's our classic tint brushes. So our classic tint brushes, they've got a crimped bristle. So we've got a polyethylene crimped bristle. And the reason why we brought these, there seems to be such a huge trend of a lot of brushes out there that has a little bit more of a feathered finish to them. The reason why we call these classic tint brushes, these are really specifically used for classic work. Applying lightener to a foil, applying a regrowth tint to the regrowth of somebody's hair. Because of the crimped bristles, it creates a larger surface area, so it allows you to really go in and really saturate the hair. So let's take a little closer look to see what makes our tint brushes so special. Okay, so we're going to change the camera angle. There we go. Okay, so the tint brushes are available pack for twos. We have got our large. So there's 2 packs of 2 of these, and then there's also 2 of the small ones as well. Okay, so watch out for them. They're available to buy now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you a couple of different ways to put your refoils in. Okay. We're going to just basically keep it really classic. This is really going to be for a demonstration purpose. We're going to find that you're going to have lots of weekly education is going to be happening on how I particularly like to use all the different tools that we're going to be manufacturing. Throughout the live, if you guys stay on till the end of the live, we've got a world exclusive on our patented color tool that we're going to be launching later this year, which is going to allow you to apply color to the hair in half the amount of time. So watch out for that. The initiative's called Orco, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be launching a competition as well, so again, stay tuned for the competition as well. Okay, so we're just going to keep it really simple. I did have an additional camera, but for some reason my camera's disappeared. God loves a little bit of technology, but obviously it hasn't really worked today for me. So normally on my lives, there's going to be multi-cameras and stuff like that. So unfortunately, my second camera didn't work. Okay, so we're going to keep it really simple. And again, I'm going to be coming in. Going to do a different angle. Hope everybody can see okay. So we're just going to come in. Keep it really simple. Going to just do a horizontal section pattern. Again, I'm going to turn this just around so you guys can get a little bit of a better view through there. Spin it back around. Okay. So I'm going to take a sheet. So this hasn't been prepared. So the memory fold hasn't been activated through here. So all I'm going to simply do is I'm going to sandwich this piece. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got another piece through here. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to get another piece of foil. I'll grab another piece. Grab a couple. What you'll find with refoils is they get better with age. So as I say, when you start to use them, you sort of see, if you look at the difference between the two, you can sort of see how much softer that it becomes. So when you get them, they're a little bit more firmer. Okay? So I'm going to come through and I'm going to do a simple technique where I'm going to sandwich one refoils on top of the other. So again, just going to take a horizontal section, nothing too fancy here. And all I'm going to simply do with them is simply I'm going to be placing it into the hair. So I'm going to move this just over a little bit. So I'm going to simply just take it and press it into the hair like so. I'm going to just change the camera angle so you guys can get a little bit more of a closer look. I'll bring this back a little bit more. There you go, that's better. Okay, so as I say, with refoils, as soon as you move them down like this, the great thing about it is I'm able to move the refoils around. So if I need to sort of adjust where they are, I can easily adjust the refoils. If this was with foil, sometimes foil would be very, very difficult to readjust it. Okay, so I'm going to come in. I'm going to be using my large, if I can find it. There we go. 1 second, I'm going to grab my brush. Okay, take the section again now that I've found my tint brush. Okay, so again, I'm going to come in. Refoils into the hair. I'm going to take my classic tint brush, apply it straight to the hair. The great thing about our classic tint brushes, because they're going to be that little bit more firmer, it allows me to really sort of tilt it in and really allows me to saturate that product. So you can see how easily it glides onto the refoils. So again, going to come through. Again, you can see how it's got a nice firm surface to actually paint on. And then simply all I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich one on top of the other. So I'm going to take a second refoil, put it in, connect the two together. And if I want to lock this into place, simply all I'm going to do is I can fold both corners over if I wanted to fold both corners over. If I wanted to seal the bottom through here, is again, we can come in and seal like so. The great thing about using refoils is if you're going to be using let me just change this camera back onto here. Sorry. So if you're going to be using more of an air touch technique, a lot of times when you're doing an air touch, is sometimes you'll find with the foils can really waft around. Because these are going to be that little bit more sturdier than foils, you'll tend to find it doesn't waft around when you come to do an air touch technique. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting a little bit more of a fold into it. So again, keeping it really simple. Just going to take a horizontal section. Actually, I'll take a wider section than I had done. So again, I'm going to take another section. And this time what I want to do is I want to be able to place the refoils into the hair with more of a folded edge. So this is being used probably 20 to 30 times. But you can sort of see that it's already been folded before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat and use this, and I'm going to use the fold that's already been created. So I'm going to come in, take a section, make sure you guys can see okay. I'm going to come in, press down, and again, coming through my lightener. I really like using the extra large tint brushes for this. You know, my sort of philosophy is that if you're going to be painting a larger area, use a larger brush, you know? It's really about working smarter and not harder. So again, coming through. So you can see how buttery it goes on as well. The saturation is always going to be key for any coloring technique. Again, because the challenge that you have with foil is sometimes foil can tend to be too flimsy. So when you're doing certain techniques, especially along your hair, by having a little bit more of a firmer surface, it just makes life so much easier. So again, you can sort of see, because this has already been previously folded, I'm going to come in. If I just want to fold the edges, I can just fold the edges. If I just want to basically come through and then just fold it in like so, and fold it in like so. So you can sort of see, because it's already been folded prior, it allows me to really go in and make it quite quick. So that's the second one. So we've gone in and folded. Personally, I'm just going to bring this top camera up. Personally, when I use refoils, I don't fold the edge. The reason for that, it just takes more time. So the more times I've used refoils, the more that I'm discovering that I don't need to fold the edge, okay? So on this next one, I'm not going to fold the edge. I'm going to come through with that. What I'm going to show you now is something that you can't really do with foils. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. Okay, so what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to create a little bit more of a diffusion, okay? So I'm going to be using, again, this will be a brand new one that I'm using. So I'm not going to, actually what I'll do is I'm just going to basically just fold it in half. So again, when you get your refoils, all you need to do is just spend a little bit of time. Just make sure you're doing it really quite clean and quite neat. So once this has been creased, that crease will be there for the lifespan of the refoils, okay? So I'm going to just crease it once. So I'm going to create a little bit more diffusion. And I want to create a little bit more of a slight baby light feel. Okay, so I'm going to come in. Again, just keep it really simple, just working in straight horizontal sections. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to come in, again, placing my refoils into the hair, okay? And all I'm going to do now is on top of the foil, I'm going to come in with my tail comb and I'm going to create some diffusion. So you can probably see in that camera there, that I've actually created a little bit of diffusion. So a great way if you're going to be doing sort of more of a baby light technique or a foliage, you can literally straight on top of the foil, I can press onto here. If I try to do this with traditional foil, one, it'll probably break, but also as well, it'll probably tear. And then secondly, what will happen is all this foil, if it was traditional foil, would buckle up. So I'm not able to, on traditional foil, able to comb on top of it all, unless I probably had a board, a highlighting board I was working on. So again, pressing on here, coming through, and just creating that little bit of diffusion. Then what I want to do is come through with my lightener. Again, if I want to create a little bit of diffusion, I want to come straight up, like so. So you can sort of see blending and feathering on the refoils is so easy. So again, coming through. Oops. What you're also able to do as well is, I forgot one of my combs, but I'll demonstrate. I won't use this comb because I'm actually going to be using it for the rest of the techniques. What I'm able to do is I'm able to take a cutting comb and I'm able to comb straight on top of this and it won't actually rip the material. So the benefit of using refoils is I'm able to create more diffusion through this root area. But what I'm also able to do as well is also create more saturation through the mid-lengths and ends. So I'm able to comb straight on top of the material without actually ripping the material. So again, I'm going to come in, I'm going to come straight up, and then simply all I'm going to do is just fold the edge in. So you can sort of see if I spin this around, if you guys can see okay. So you can see it's well anchored into the hair. And you can sort of see it's fairly quite close to the roots as well. And again, when I lift this up through there, you can sort of see how well anchored it is. And even this bottom one through here, again, because it has been sandwiched, again, you can sort of see how well anchored it is through there as well. What about things like hair painting? Can we use refoils for hair painting? Absolutely. For me, the extra long, these guys here, these are specifically used for longer hair and specifically used when you're going to be doing more your balayage or foliage technique. You can leave them as they are, so you can leave them as they are, or I like to fold them. So I do have one in here somewhere. So this has already been previously folded. Okay. What you can also do as well is you can also resize these. So if you wanted to, say, buy the XL sheets, you can actually take half of them because there's 100 in the pack. So you can essentially take half of them and resize them. So half the pack you can have long, and the other half of the pack you can have traditional, which is really good for doing that. So I'm going to just do a really, really simple hair painting technique. The whole thing about today is not really about showing you techniques. This is going to come on a weekly basis. Really today is all about showing you just some of the many ways that you can actually use refoils. So I'm going to just change this camera again. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to do a really, really simple hair painting technique. Now, move this across a little bit. Okay, so it's going to work again. I'm going to probably work in a little bit more of a slightly sort of zigzag for this. So, little zigzag section. And again, I'm going to just basically put the shaft away. Right. Alright, stay. Okay. So I'm going to take this section and I'm just going to do a traditionally painting technique. Something that we're going to be launching throughout the next sort of 6 months to a year is we're also going to be launching some balayage tools as well. So watch out for them as well. This, what I'm using, isn't it. So we are going to be launching some really good tools though. Okay. So I'm just going to basically just do a really simple balayage technique. And again, we're just going to just come through and just put a little bit of diffusion through there. Okay, so again, just building up my product. Okay, so as I'm getting to the mid-shaft and ends, I'm going to take my refoil. And then I'm going to do is simply just rest it on top. Good. I'm going to simply rest it on top. And then I'm just going to just paint straight over the top of it. So again, you're using your refoils as a little bit of like a palette. You're able to sort of come through and you're able to really push that product into the hair. I know some people like to use the fingers. I typically like to use my fingers, but I obviously haven't got any gloves on today. So again, pushing that product in. You can sort of see how sort of stable the refoils are. And because I've already sort of creased it, simply all we're going to do is that. Get my comb, and then I can just lock in through there. If I wanted to lock in at the bottom, again, I can just lock in at the bottom as well. If we took this same foil, and if we did different folds, that's no problem because it'll remember the old and the new fold through that. So that is our balayage technique. This is the technique where I'm basically just not using, I'm just basically putting it straight into the hair and just folding it once. This is more of your traditional fold. And then this is a little bit more of a sandwich. So we've got lots and lots of education going to be coming. Our next technique that we're going to be launching is we're going to be launching a video which is going to be an air touch technique. So I'm going to show you exactly how I use them for an air touch technique. So definitely watch out for that. So by all means, in the comments, please, if you do have any questions or any comments, please do ask them. Because of the software that I'm actually using for this stream, I'm not able to see any of the comments. So I'll actually go back in afterwards and have a look. And if you've got any questions, just let me know, please. So before we get finished, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of a competition that we're going to be launching. The competition is going to be starting as of today. So let me bring that up. All right, jump on the right side. All right, so the date, we're going to have 5 lucky winners. The announcement's going to be on Wednesday. That's going to be on Monday, the 7th of March. The prizes is you're going to be winning pack of refoils, so the 2 sizes, plus also our classic tint brushes as well. So this is what you're going to do. Please share this live. I really appreciate it if you do. Secondly, make sure you're following us on our YouTube channel. Again, the links is going to be in the description. If you're not already following us on Instagram, you should be. So it's Conceptual Hair Tools. And again, we've just started our own TikTok. So again, please do follow us on TikTok. Boom. Okay, so before we get finished, I do want to share with you the next product that we're going to be launching at Conceptual Hair Tools. This is our patented color applicator, and it's called Alcohol. Okay, so here's a little sneak peek. This is a world exclusive. Not many people have seen this. So this is a world exclusive on what we believe is going to be the future of hair color application. So this is Alcohol. Okay, so the weapons of fast creation. So watch out for that coming. If you want to buy any of our tools, they're available on our website. So it's conceptualhairtools.com. Again, link is in the description. Also, as well, is if you are buying from North America, so if you're from Canada or the US, if you follow the links, that's going to take you to our fulfillment partner. So we're actually on Amazon for North America. So yeah, watch out for lots of different things going to be launching from us. We've been working so hard over the last 12 months to really sort of design some really cool, innovative tools. So thank you so much for joining me today. Watch out for lots of other things coming from Conceptual Hair Tools. So thanks again. I really appreciate your support. Thanks again. Bye.